What is going on, guys? Welcome to Way Up After Dark. It's your girl Ashley, as it always is. And today we have a very special guest coming on today to talk about finding your purpose, reinventing yourself over and over again. And honestly, since I've known him, he's done it a few times. So who better to talk to than somebody who has done the shit, right? So if you guys would give a warm welcome to Marquez Haynes, a former professional basketball player turned multifaceted, holistic healer. And today he's going to talk about how he did that. Because if y'all know, those worlds, those universes are very different, especially when you're just starting out in professional sports and you're still trying to find yourself and you're maintaining your image and you're trying to become somebody. And then that season of your life comes to a close, and then you just awaken your inner gifts and figure out, like, dang, I got a whole nother set of skills literally to bring to the world. So today we are going to talk about that. Everybody, welcome Marquez Haynes. Hey. Welcome.
What's going on? How are you? You can hear me? You hear me good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay, perfect. Good.
Technical difficulties, making sure it's straight.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm super solid. How are you? It's been a minute. I know we've been
Yeah.
kind of like dancing around. I'm like super excited to talk to you, tap in,
Yeah.
share and build. So I'm good though. Everything is solid. Things are moving. They're moving quickly too. So yeah.
Good. That's a clip season for you, honestly. Like the rest of this year is gonna fly by. So but it's been a couple years since I've known you. We have talked a few different times, and I would say it's funny how the universe works, but I mean, we already know that shit is just funny, period. So, like, when I first talked to you, you were in one season. When we connected again, you were in another season. When we connected again, you were in another season. So when I was reaching out to different people, for the podcast, I had different topics in mind, and I was basically putting faces to the topics. And so what I have noticed in the collective, especially in this season we've been in, is a lot of people are kind of in the space of like, what's next? Like, I'm frustrated. I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know what I want to do. Like, I don't know. And it's crazy because when you talk to people and you say like, hey, what's going on in your life? And they're like, I don't know. I don't even know who I am. Like, I don't know where I'm going. They're like, it's like, if they're talking to me, they're like, can you tell me like what I should be doing? And I'm like, you kind of have to figure that. I can tell you how to get there, but you have to figure out what it is that you want to do. And it's crazy to think that the number one thing that people struggle with is knowing what they want out of life. And I think you get to, when we're kids, and we're always being asked, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you like? What are your interests? What's your hobbies? And we can name like 50 things off the back. Like, for example, if you asked me when I was 17 what I wanted to be, I would have been like, oh, I'm going to be a singer. I'm going to be a fucking dancer. I'm going to go, to college and play softball. I'm going to fucking start a multi-million-dollar empire. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be famous. Like, I could just name so many things. But I feel like once you get to a certain point in life, and I don't even want to make this like an age thing. I really want to make this more of like a internal growth thing. You know what I mean? Like, once you get to a certain place inside, once you've been through enough trauma, trials, tribulations, failed relationships, like once you get to a certain point of growth and inner wisdom, you kind of don't know. And I feel like that's a season. I'm just honest. That's a season I've been in for sure this past year. And I know that's a season you've been in, and that's a season a lot of people have been in. So just talk to us a little bit about what it's like for you on a personal level to move from season to season, but also, as this new role that you've kind of been in over the last few years of this multifaceted, holistic healer, like what are some of the methods, what are some of the tools, what are some of the ways, the portals, the gateways, like how are you getting from one place to
Yeah.
another?
Yeah. Well, first, thank you for that. And even to hear you reflected, I'm like, damn, it's been so much time. Like, I mean, when you came, when I found you, I was probably definitely the darkest season of my life. And it was
Yeah.
exactly what you said. It was, and I feel like you said, collectively, I think everybody's going through that, whether they're aware of it or not, or if you ain't, it's right around the corner. So you pay attention. But I think, before you even get to the hows or the ways or how to navigate things, you got to start asking the right questions. And for me, I was pretty firm and solid in my identity, ball player, like lifestyle, kicking it, just doing everything that would come with being a professional basketball player and being lit and making it pop. Like, out here doing what I learned to do, get some money, you know what I'm saying? Drive the cars, get the cribs, do the things, that we all want, right? From a worldly
Yes.
perspective. And eventually there comes a moment, and you kind of alluded to it when you were talking about getting to that. When you're younger, you just know it's like I know exactly what I want. It's so many possibilities, and then later it's kind of like we not so much. And so I think like everybody gets to that point where I think that some of those dreams or some of those things didn't work out. You get a little more jaded, a little bit more emotional trauma and baggage that has, I would say, accumulated over time.
Disappointment.
So yeah, disappointment for sure. And so for me, the disconnect, and this is before we can even get to the way, the disconnect is that by the time you get a little bit older, you're a little more disconnected from your heart. And that's really what I feel
Very
like.
good point.
Yeah, at the very basis of it is that we have all these ideas of what we think we should do and what we could do. And so when that doesn't always work, and through time when we get disappointed going on paths that might not be ours, purposes that might not be ours, and we get disappointed, man, it didn't work out, we're confused. And what's missing from that equation is we always thinking about what we should do or thinking about how things should look. We're not understanding, like, how do I want to feel? So to me, when you say what do I want to be or what do I want to do when I get older, the real question is like, who am I trying to become? And that's what's going to put you on the path. And so for me, that has been the process for me, is getting out of the mode of like, okay, what seems like I should do this, or what does society tell me to do, or what do my people tell me to do? What versus who am I here to become? Not just like what I think I should become, what I saw, what I, around me, like what's real, what's true to me. And the only way you can do that is if you listen to your heart. But if you got so much disappointment, so much emotional baggage, so much, all these things, guilt, shame, emotional content, you're going to have to deal with that first if you want to hear your heart, if you want to hear it. So that's the process. That's how, that's the overarching view of how do you like turn it around and be like, not what should I think I should do, and be like, nah, I know exactly what the fuck I'm about to do. Can I cuss on here?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's explicit. Sure. It's after dark. We cuss after dark. There's a lot going on at nighttime. You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, so is you really saying is not what do I think I should do? It's like I know exactly what the fuck to do, and that's a matter of the heart, and that's source, that's heart, that's a direct. I know exactly what to do. It don't matter how it look. It can look crazy to everybody. I know exactly what I'm fucking about to do, and that's how this shit work for me, at least. Yeah. So ultimately, it's not what you think you should do, or not what things should look like. Ultimately, it's like what it should feel like. And I think the real question that we asking ourselves, or we should be asking ourselves, or that I had to ask myself, is who am I here to become? And so if you, from that perspective, who am I here to become, that starts to eliminate a lot of bullshit. Even if it looks good to you, or it might seem to be a favorable path, or something like that. It's like, but I'm not here to become that. That's not true for my spirit. So to me, the real question is, who am I here to become? And you're only going to know that if you're connected to the heart. So for me, I would say my path has been the path of removing what's in the way of hearing my heart, or moving through those things, which would just be emotional content, emotional baggage, emotional residue, I would say, is what's in the way. And those are typically core wounds we all face, and shame, guilt, grief, those type of things. And it could play out a multitude of ways, but that's the question. That's the path. It's really the path back to the heart. We we live here, and it's like it's a 18-inch journey from here to here. Once you know that, then all this other stuff get a little bit easier to navigate. Now,
Yeah.
well, a little more simple to navigate. It ain't easy, but
No, well, that's what I was gonna say. So let's really break this down for a second, because I'm all for what you're saying. I'm already knowing what type of time
yeah,
all of that is. But what is so, I don't want to say crazy, but what is so fascinating to me is that right there, what you just explained, people struggle with the most. So when you tell people like you got to drop into your heart, or you got to really sit with how you feel, well, we spend most of our lives running from that because we don't want to feel it. You don't want to feel all that disappointment. You want to get over the disappointment. You want to get to the next good thing. And that aspect alone gets you in so much trouble, dog. Let me just say this. When that core problem, right? Wanted like, oh, I just experienced this disappointment. Well, I don't want to feel this. So I'm about to go get high. I'm about to go get drunk. I'm about to go call my ex. I'm about to go get into a new relationship because I don't want to feel the pain from the last one. I am about to go get so drunk and party my ass off because God forbid I feel the disappointment of losing this job. God forbid I experience the shame of feeling like I was supposed to be doing this and that's not even a part of my life anymore. I'm not feeling shit. I'm going to go find something, someone, somehow, some way to take my energy, my emotions, my feelings, my thoughts off of this disappointment. And these are all key words that you used in what you were explaining: disappointment, shame, guilt, pain, all of that. But what your point is that you have to bridge that gap. You can't just go from one disappointment into the next excitement without feeling and experiencing all of that emotion that has come with that ending of something that you felt was either going to be forever, a lifetime, purpose, what I was meant to be doing, whatever, what have you. So how would you walk people through, because people get mad at me, swear to God, like people have the audacity to be like, I don't want to go sit in my heart. I want logical, tangible, information that's going to get me, $100 million overnight. Well, that's not realistic, because if you have that emotional, how you said, like junk feeling, like if you have that in the way, that's the gap. So how do you explain to people that come to you that until we bridge this gap, until we deal with the emotional block that's really in the way of what you tangibly want, how do you explain to them the importance of that? And then how do you walk them through that?
Yeah. Well, there's a few ways, and it really is. I mean, there's levels to it, because someone that if I'm working with a teenager, I'm not gonna give them the same type of support as a 50, 60-year-old that's on a totally different spiritual journey. But generally speaking, the way I work with it is, I mean, it's overarching, it's just shadow work. It's really we talk about. People talk about it. I know people throw it around all the time. What is shadow work?
Yeah.
But ultimately, the shadow is just a part of the psyche, a repressed, or you could say like exiled part of the psyche. Something happened to us. It was a little bit too much for us to process, and we kind of filed it away. But when you do that, you kind of lose pieces of yourself. This is a very kind of dumbed down version of, I'm trying to make it quick. And so how I approach shadow work, shadow work to me, in a sense, is like, it's almost like a rescue mission. And so when it's time to dive back in there to those things, like you said, the avoidance and the pain, all this stuff that happened, and we want to go do something else so we don't have to feel it. This is like kind of directly going back into it, right? Like this is like where like it's an intentional decision. Well, you're gonna do it regardless. Life gonna make you. You either gonna try to like numb up and not feel it, or you're gonna like chest up and say, all right, like let's do it. And if you do it what you'll find is there's all these gems and nuggets and gold there for you that actually will lead to your becoming, which is what we said earlier. So when you
Yeah.
got people that's saying like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what's next, I don't know what, what I'm saying, what's next is not the that huge dream you had of whatever. What's next when you don't know is probably to go back in there to some things you probably missed. That's probably why you either feel stuck or you're kind of circling in place, because it ain't nowhere to go. You need to deepen. A lot of times we're like, where do I go? It's like, if ain't nowhere to go, you need to deepen. And that means there's probably something you need to feel tangibly, like practically. I teach it through a method called the Oasis. And the Oasis for me is like to give injury to it, the only place you can find an oasis is in the desert. And the desert kind of indicates or is symbolic for a difficult journey. Like when you kind of you in it, it's drought season. You walk in that road, you walk in that path, and it's hot. It ain't no water, and it's ain't nothing for miles, and it's no help coming to save you. And what we're looking for is the oasis. And so the oasis is an acronym, and I would say the symbolism of the oasis is the journey to the heart, but it's an acronym, and the O, it stands for opportunity. And when I say opportunity, what I'm really meaning is it would be something that you want, anything. It don't have to even be it don't have to be huge. Some people can't actually tap into that. They're not actually connected to that. It could be something, a small goal, something that I want. That's the opportunity. That's the reason we would even take the fucking journey. Why the hell is anybody in the desert? Like, why would you be doing that? There's some reason. And we're all on the journey. We just might not know it, or we might be kind of like wandering around, but we're all on it. And the A, and so the acronym is kind of like a roadmap. All right. So you got the opportunity. We need that. That's like the North Star. This is what you need to remember. You need to remember this shit when it get crazy. Like, why am I even, what is it? What's the goal? That's the direction. Okay, we going that way. All right, remember that even when you get lost. The A is your anchors. So anchors would be anything that's really supportive on the journey. And I like to really break it down into like grounding practices for me. So anything that keeps you grounded. My trifecta when I was going through this was yoga, meditation, journaling, prayer. Those, when it got weird for me. And so as I continue to invest into those things and make those actual real parts of my life, because they weren't before, I saw that it started to unlock things, or it kept me grounded when I didn't know where to go or when I felt lost, right? So the S is the shadows. And the shadows is what you turn to when shit gets hard. That's the compulsive behavior. That's what you were talking about, right? Things that if I keep investing energy into them, ultimately is going to keep me from getting where I want to go. The anchors are, if you invest in them, they're not necessarily going to solve your problems. What they're going to do is keep you grounded so you can save yourself, keep you calm enough for the messages to flow, for the understanding to deepen, and for you to keep going on the journey. So at any given moment in this journey, you're always putting energy somewhere. So it's always and you can look and say, I'm either putting energy in my anchors or the shadows. And the anchors could be a lot of different things. Anything, I'll say any person, place, or thing that really keeps you grounded. And when you pour into it, it gives you a return that you want. Energetic investment. Energy is going one or two ways always. So it's like the conscious decision to say, all right, I ain't gonna pour into the drinking or the marijuana or the casual sex or the shopping or cheap dopamine, because there's a desire somewhere and if I keep pouring into these like quicker, surface level desires, I'm never gonna get to what my heart wants, because these are keeping me from feeling the things I need to feel.
Amen. I know you're not done, but fucking man, dog, because between that A and that S, between that energy, that's a bitch.
That's
That
where it
is
happens.
a bitch. Like, and the way that you explained it is so perfect, because it really is like the A and the S for me, the way I see it is like red pill, blue pill. Right? One is going to lead you to your destiny. One is going to lead you to where you want to be long term. One is going to be sustainable. And the other one, just like you said, cheap dopamine, quick fix. And that can be anything. That could literally be scrolling on your fucking phone like
Right.
all day.
Hell
Like
yeah.
it doesn't have to be so extreme. It's
Nah.
like, oh, I'm about to go get these bitches and like
Yeah.
it doesn't even have to be all that. It can literally be you in the house scrolling on your phone. That's dopamine. You're
Yep.
getting high off of whatever other people are doing on the internet instead of getting high off of yourself and your own ideas and your own, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Numbing.
between that
Yeah.
A and that S, that is a bitch. And a
Yeah.
lot of people get stuck there because it's like, I want, right? In my head, I want these things, but I, in my actions, am not doing anything about that.
Right. Where's the energy going? I always, that's how I ask myself. I say, like, where's my energy going? And so
Yes.
a lot of people, shit, I mean, between scrolling and just loops of thought, rumination, you leak energy all day.
All
So
day.
you know, and so ultimately you're we're always creating something. And
For
so
sure.
you either participating in, you know, your becoming, or you're keeping yourself stuck, which is, I mean, just the epitome of self-sabotage, basically. When we say
Yes.
self-sabotage, it's, you know, so ultimately, you know, it's a the anchors let you slow down a little bit to see those, oh, that pull, like, damn, right now I want to go do this. And sometimes it's not like you gotta like fix it all quickly. Sometimes you just gotta notice it. You gotta say, like,
Mm.
okay, you know what?
Awareness.
Yeah, just be like, even if it's like a couple of hours where you just kind of sit in the tension of wanting to go smoke that joint and feel what comes up when you don't. I'm triggered as motherfucker, everything pissing me off. You know, I feel sad, I feel whatever, like I'm uncomfortable, I feel restless, I'm bored. You'll watch the cravings start to shift. And it'll be like, okay, I
Mm-hmm.
can't have that. Okay, now I want to go do this. And it'll be feeling so random, but it's not.
Yes.
And if you could just notice it a little bit and watch it subside, or watch it, even let it grow in intensity,
Yeah.
and have the, you know, the courage and the willingness to just be in it a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Just be in there, let that tension, let it hit you a little bit, like you're in there with it, you know. If you could just be in there with that, you're gonna watch things shift, and you're
Yes.
gonna watch your vision change. You're gonna feel stronger. Now, there's gonna be times where you can, you know, really sit in that tension. There's gonna be times where you just fall, especially the
It
longer
happens.
coping. Yeah, it's just part of it.
It
And then that's
happens.
an opportunity to not judge yourself, not
Yeah.
guilt yourself, not overly beat yourself up. It's, you got to be aware. You sit down with it. You be like, okay, this is what I chose in this moment. I chose this. Take that power, responsibility. I chose to go,
Mm-hmm.
you know, do that. Now, and where did that choice get me? How do I
Yeah.
feel now? How do I feel? That's
Yeah.
enough. So next time you're there, even if you, let's say you still don't choose what you should choose, the more you keep being aware of it, the harder it's going to be to choose some bullshit. So
Mm.
you just got to keep working it. And that brings me to the I. The I is
Hold on, wait. I know you want to get to this I, bro, but I'm telling you, like, this is so important because when I listen, the only reason why I'm having you break this A and S down the most is
yeah.
because this is the hump. The O, the O is easy, opportunity. Boom. Like we can figure it out. We can have an idea. We can know what we want. We get to that A, and it's hard for people to sit down and meditate. It's hard for people
Yeah.
to sit down and journal. It's hard for people to sit down and I can't tell you how many times over the years people have tell me I can't meditate. Well, it's because you're too
Yeah.
much in your head, because you're too
Yeah.
much looking for a fix, because you're too much,
Yeah.
you're not being aware, you're not being anchored in yourself, right? Because you're too up
Yeah.
here. And just because it's your mind, it doesn't mean all of that is your thoughts. Like you said,
That's
rumination. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? I mean, we could even go. I
Just
mean, there's
because
so many ways to explain things, but even on like the super religious end of it, they call that shit the enemy. Honestly, like, and I
yeah.
think I've said this before, like all of those thoughts and shit, like in religion, they're like, oh, that's the enemy. That's how they get in. Like, and then I don't care how you say it, how you frame it, where you're at with it, spiritual or not. All of those thoughts that you're thinking are in a way, like if they're not positive and productive, they're not really coming from you because your heart doesn't want negativity. Your heart
Yeah.
wants goodness, but the mind only knows how to see goodness in a society that is built on instant gratification. And that's why I wanted to slow you down between this
Yeah, for
A and
sure.
this S, because you were saying, you said something along those lines. And I'm thinking, yep, instant gratification, because that A in that anchor is so important, because if you are so easily swayed by getting that fix, getting that fix, getting that fix, because in a consumeristic society, in a place where we've all kind of been told like, oh, we got to have this or we can't be happy. We got to go out and get this or we can't be happy. We got to go out and feel this or we can't be happy. Like,
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
hard to be anchored. So that's why I just had to come back to it,
I'm with you.
because
No, I could do this for
hard,
hours. I
bro.
can stay in this for hours. Okay, I'm with you. Like, let's bring that shit back. Okay, look. So Pete, the when you start talking about anchors, like one of the big things I do when I'm working with people is we got to identify what yours are. Because some people, I'm not gonna tell everybody to just sit down and just meditate. Like, it ain't realistic. I would have did that shit. I wasn't going to. I remember my nervous system was so shot when I first started. I couldn't sit outside with my eyes closed more than 10 or 15 seconds before I had to just look and see if like something's gonna get me. You know, who the fuck knows, right? My nervous system is shot from years of just growing up in the hood and just fucking, it's a fight every fuck day or worse, depending on, you know what I'm saying, what's going on. It's always some threat. It's always something looking to either take advantage of you, violate you. Something's always gonna happen. And we learn how to navigate it. Like, it's not a bad thing that we learn these things, but it's overused. You know,
No, it's too much. Yeah.
So I couldn't sit down and meditate. There's just no way. But you start to learn that there's other ways to meditate. And what I learned is I meditated through basketball. I didn't know that was meditation. I didn't know that brought me to presence when I sit there and let that ball bounce over and over and over and shoot it over. These are soulful repetitions that lead to presence and mindfulness. That's meditation. Meditation, in a sense, is really single point focus.
Yes.
Yeah. So
everybody say amen.
Yeah. So if you can now, the deeper you go, the more comfortable you get with yourself, the more you don't need nothing. You don't need to be doing nothing else. You get comfortable with that stillness and that silence. Yes. But some people, that's just too far of a leap. So that might not be an anchor for someone, right? We might have to do a couple other things first, or I might have to hit them with like a 2-minute meditation daily, depending. But we want you to get into that silence and feel what's there. But ultimately, you got to identify the anchors, and it's different for everybody. You know, some people they go to church every Sunday, and that's an anchor for them. Right. For me, that wasn't necessarily an anchor because of the things that I learned growing up, or the way the church was kind of presented to me. So as I'm going on this journey, it wasn't an anchor for me. You know, now my understanding of all the religions is so much greater now. I really have a deeper education. So I kind of understand what they're trying to get to and how it might have got distorted. But ultimately, that wasn't an anchor for me. I had to find something else. So you find the things that anchor you in, and now you got to rely on them. That's foundation, because you're going to want to go to the other things. And if you want to get to where, if you really want your own becoming, it's not going to include a lot of the shadow stuff. It's not going to include a lot of the compulsive behaviors. If you're who you really came here to be, that's not those.
You're not your habits.
Yeah, you
learned how to do that, to self-soothe. That's a nervous system issue. That's why you need to be aware. And you made a really, really good point when you said the more that you anchor, the less you're gonna feel like you want to go to the shadows. And that's such a huge point, which I kind of said the A and the S for me reminds me of the Matrix, that red pill, blue pill. And when you said that, it takes me to that part in the movie. I don't know if you've seen it, or I mean, if anybody here, if y'all seen it, you know what it is. But there's this part in the movie that they show like Neo, this image of like people eating like fucking steak and lobster and shit. And then when they turn off the system, it's fucking slop on a plate. Like, you've been eating slop this whole time, but because it was presented to you as something that was going to soothe you, nourish you, fulfill you, your habits, right? Your shadowy energy, you didn't have that awareness, that recognition that you were actually eating slop. Like, you were not being nourished. Like, you were being lied to and fed bullshit symbolically, right? Yeah. And that shit is not healthy for you. It's not good for you. It's not going to take you where you want to go, because at the end of the day, it's not what you thought it was. So when you said, like, you know, the more you are aware, right? Because that's what the Matrix is, the awareness of the bullshit, right? once you become more aware of your habits, of your go-to shadows, right, the less you're going to want to choose that. And I think that is such an important top point, right? And segue into the I, because once you master that right there, becoming aware, having those anchors so you can be in that self-awareness, so you can be aware of your triggers. And I think it's also important to say, like, we don't want to shame anyone for your triggers. We don't want to shame anyone for your habits. Like, this is what you've learned. This is what you've been taught. This is what you've been force fed. Like, again, slop looks like steak and lobster when they tell you that shit is. Like, you get what I'm saying? So we're not here to judge anyone, but you make a good point between that A and that S, where it's like that self-awareness, that center point of focus. When you said that, I was like, yeah, because that center point of focus is so important. Once you have that, it doesn't mean that you won't go out and have a drink on a weekend and have a good time with your friends. It just means you'll be aware of who you are and what the fuck you're doing. You know what I mean? And you're not relying on that or depending on that. And it doesn't become a part of your personality. It just becomes a fun activity that you do, right? 100%. You don't use it to avoid, you use it to enjoy, you know?
I want to be real clear. When you're doing overarching theme, when we're doing shadow work, the one thing you're not trying to do is judge or guilt or shame. And you're gonna feel it. That's the point, is to feel where those emotions have derailed you and led you to coping mechanisms. So the more you guilt and judge and shame yourself, the more you're gonna turn to the coping. It's a loop that you keep yourself in. So ultimately, this is what we're trying to do, is be aware and tell ourselves the truth, not guilt or shame ourselves about why we did something. I'm trying to just say what I did. That was too overwhelming for me, so I turned to something that probably isn't the best for me. But if you're telling yourself the full truth, there is a replacement energy for everything. So if I'm going to marijuana to, calm my nervous system, ultimately there's a replacement for that. That's actually, if you invest in it a little bit more, or multiple things that will actually lead to your becoming, that will actually sustain you, will have you feeling better, will have you feeling high without drugs. This is real. These are real things. Even people love plant medicine, ayahuasca, and all the plant meds. Well, you can get there with breath work. You know what I'm saying? Like, without ingest, so I say that to say that our body and there's so many natural methods to do these things, and those will actually sustain you instead of giving you, like, a feeling or a high or, a low, and then just crash you out. And ultimately, so when I say that, it's just being aware, so you can see what the actual need is underneath all of the compulsive behavior. What am I actually seeking? So I can go find it in a way with the new awareness that I have, because I've grown or I'm older, and I know that thing, at one point in my life, I thought that would give me what I wanted. And now I have more awareness. So you got to update your processor. You
fucking preach.
You got to update it. And it's like, no judgment. It ain't none of that.
None.
Because you're not gonna, I'm sitting here, I teach this. I also learn this because I have advisors that are still helping me through this. And I want to add this piece to it. I think people could get caught in this perfection nonsense.
Oh, listen, that's me.
I'm telling you, we come here to enjoy earthly pleasures.
Amen.
Don't get it fucked up. Like,
don't get it fucked
up. Supposed to the fruits of our labors, and we're supposed to enjoy it. The problem is we lost the plot. So we're skipping all the shit that we came here to become and do, just so. And
now you're just not happy and high. Like, for what?
So we so busy trying to chase a dollar or chase a high or chase a feeling or chase some security in the form of all these symbols that we forget the embodiment. Like, I'm here ultimately on a much larger mission than just my immediate needs. And so most people that are so busy stuck in that, and that, to me, that survival mode is your immediate needs, and us telling ourselves that that's the most important thing. You never get to the larger mission. So you always gonna feel unfulfilled. No matter how many immediate needs you can fulfill, you always gonna feel something missing. It
I'm
don't
about
matter
to
how
start
much.
banging on this fucking desk.
Yeah,
I'm like, yes, bro. Yeah, this is the sauce.
you
This is
feel me?
the sauce. Oh my God.
Yeah. So it's always going to be something, and from there you're going to be wondering. And this is coming to bring it all the way back to where you said people are like, "What now? What do I do?" Because deep down, most people have got to the point, even though they won't admit it, that there's no amount of acquisition or external based going and seeking that's actually going to make them happier.
Swear to
It
God.
might for a moment, but deep down they know they're like, I could get that new job, I can get that new crib, I get that new car, I can get the new relationship, and you're just gonna bring all your bullshit to it because you
Because if you
avoid it.
had it, you can get it. But
Yeah,
once you get it, you're still gonna feel the
same.
same way.
You're shame, guilt, grief. You think none of that's going nowhere. That's not, and that's what's leading you to feel the way you feel. And I get, we've been lied to and told different things, and I've done it. So it's not that you necessarily would do things totally different or you want different things. It's that it's where it comes from is totally different, and it's a very whole place to be. And so, that's ultimately in bringing that full circle to the I, because this is where the A and the S kind of like start to collide, is integration.
Yep.
Integration. How do we, in these two choice points in the road we're in the desert, we can go this way, go that way. Integration is every time we come to one of those choice points. Every single fork in the road where it's like, I could do this, I could do that. And the more you repeat, and it's repetition, it's relearning. And in life is giving us these opportunities at every single turn. At it's all day, it's everywhere. And it's going to be easier to recognize it in the places that matter to you. If you got in your relationship or your job, where shit kind of scares you, where your fear is, your money and your heart. That's going to be the easiest place to look, where it's like, okay, here I can apply, when I'm nervous that my relationship isn't going the way I want it to go. Now I can apply some of these grounding techniques. When I go talk to my partner, can I regulate myself? Can I journal first? Can I meditate a little bit? Can I breathe? Now let's see how this goes versus me being triggered, or if I'm just worried about, the guilt or the grief or whatever it is, the accusations, or I'm scared you're going to leave me, or whatever it is. It could be whatever. Yep. If I tap into these anchors a little bit first and then show up to it. And if every time I show up like that, let's look and see what's the results, right? Yeah. And when I say results, not what does everything around me do, how do I feel? I feel a little bit better about that conversation, because even though they was tripping out, I was regulated. I was breathing. I was calm. I feel like, my becoming. And then it don't matter so much what's going on around you, because I'm on my path, my purpose. This is my purpose. My purpose don't got shit to do. All these situations is just showing me where I'm at in my journey. Yeah. Ultimately, integration is just practice. Integration is just keep repeating, practicing. Every moment is a chance, to take more responsibility, to pay attention, to look at it, and so for me, when we get into the I, we're looking around in your life and see like where are the best places to integrate. Like you look at your situation, like your daily living, where do you frequent, who's around you, who's your boss, who's your spouse, your kids, your job, all these places. We're like, okay, this is where we're gonna integrate. So now before you go into that space, we got to tap into these. For you, don't smoke today before you go in there. You're gonna do it. And even if it just piss you off, trigger the hell out of you, let's just one day today go in there without it, and let's see what happens. You know what I'm saying? That's integration.
Sit in it. It's becoming the path that you chose, right?
That is the path that you're becoming.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
See, it's a small perspective shift, because we're all looking for the symbol of something to make us think that's what we are. So if you get, I would say, like, if we want to feel safe or secure, we'll go get the symbol. So emotionally, we'll go get in a relationship, or we'll rely on our family or whatever. Or physically, what is that? A job? That's a house. Okay, now I feel safe. I feel secure. But that's not the embodiment. you know.
No.
So really you're skipping the whole point, which is the symbols or catalysts, I like to call them. They can show us what it feels like in our body to feel safe. Like, you know, you hug that loved one and you're like, oh yeah, this is what it feels like.
Yeah.
But that's not that's not going to allow you to maintain and sustain that feeling. So you're always going to be chasing them for it. They can show you what it feels like in your body, and it's up to you to go integrate that and become that. Where you're the walking embodiment of safety. When people are around you, they feel safe because you are safe, not you out here chasing it. You know what I'm saying? When people are around me, sometimes I know when I get to going, sometimes people feel high. Like people, they feel high. And I'm like, well, I didn't give them nothing to smoke. I didn't give them nothing to drink. I didn't give them nothing to, I ain't give them nothing, right? Because that's, it is a higher frequency. And that's actually what we're looking for, right?
Yeah.
When we take it, when people be taking them downers, they're trying to get grounded. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing here? It's an embodiment. It's who you're becoming. So now you don't have to chase the symbols no more. The symbols chase you. The symbols orbit you. The things that make you feel safer, make you feel powerful. It's our becoming. You don't want to go out here and be chasing, seeking, trying to acquire. No. We're talking about manifestation. We're talking about law of attraction. We're talking about resonance. We're talking about my frequency so strong that the things that match it are getting pulled to me.
Magnetizing.
Positive thinking. Yeah, we're talking about like, oh, this is what I am. It has no choice. This is what my external reality has to reflect it. It has no choice. It will. And this obviously it takes time. You know what I'm saying?
The integration part is the longest period, honestly. Because you know, okay, I chose the path, then I'm being led to something. I'm moving, but you're still in the desert at that point.
Facts.
And so it's that it's like, what the hell? Like,
now you gotta keep moving with it.
That's the worst. I mean, not the worst, but it's the slowest for sure. It's the slowest.
And so it cycles within a cycle because ultimately the S is the shift. It's a breakthrough. It's an aha moment. And sometimes it's not always the big boom. Oh my God, I got it. Because that's what we think linear. Sometimes the shift is like where you've been going through something for so long and all of a sudden the wisdom just drop in your head like, oh, right. And so from there, it starts all over again, right? You could be, the roadmap is just so you know where you're at in a moment. So when I'm going through things, sometimes I need to remember what's the opportunity, what's my North Star, why am I even doing this? Then sometimes it could be like you're in it and things are happening. I was like, oh, this is integration. Oh, I failed and I fell into an old habit. Oh, this is integration. Okay, so you don't have to shame yourself. It's just knowing. Then you're going to feel it when you feel one of my highs, like, ooh. Or it might be, sometimes you could be in one of those compulsive habits and you might not have just, broken free of it, but you have that realization that this don't feel how I used to feel.
Yes.
That's a shift. That's a shift, breaking free. So this framework is just it's a roadmap. So at any given moment, you can locate yourself in the desert instead of feeling like, oh my God, this shit taking forever. What's happening? Oh my God, like all that, start woe is me, victimhood shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, like where you at? And sometimes that's all we need is just like, okay, I know where I'm at. I know where I'm at right now. And I can just work with it. And then you keep working, you keep walking, and one day you look up, you be like, damn, like look how far I came. And that's when you met me 3 years ago. Yeah, that's where I was at, in the desert, deep in the desert. And eventually what happens is it's not even that you escape the desert, it's you become one with it. You know, so you can lead people through it. You could lead people to the water. You know what I'm saying?
You start figuring out where the water is at.
You're not tripping on it. You're not tripping when it feel like drought season, or it feel like, damn, like, I don't know what to do. Or you're not certain, or you don't know what the next step is. You're not really tripping. You know what I'm saying? And we need more people like that understand. You know what I'm saying? At one point, I always give this example of it where you could be in the desert and you could be like, it could just be like, woe is me. Everything just seemed like some bullshit. You about to die, and a sip of water around, ain't nobody around, anybody coming. And once you start to one shift or aha that I had symbolically it's almost like looking up and realizing like, damn, like the night sky lit up and you can't get that view nowhere else in the world but in the desert, right? Like
Amen.
those type of things start happening to you. The wisdom start hitting and you like, damn, like, wait, maybe there's more to this thing than just, you know, the victimhood of it all. Maybe there's I'm missing something along this
Yeah.
journey, right? And that is ultimately, you know, the people that are struggling right now that I feel like collectively you're seeing it a lot. They are missing some things, right? And it
100%.
is ultimately, if you can, you know, settle in to where you're at, it happens so much faster.
So
You
much faster.
smoother
That's
and faster if you could settle in, you know.
that's a really important point. Not at all to cut you off, but that is such an
That's it.
important point. And I feel like everybody needs to hear this. It reminds me of, people come and they say, well, this is going on and this is going on and this is going on. And then somebody says, well, you need to be grateful for what you do have. Well, you want to slap the shit out of the person that tells you that. But the
Facts.
reality is,
Yeah.
the,
Facts.
the reality is, right? Because you want to be like, what you mean? I'm in the desert. Well, what about the sky? But what about the stars that are leading you to your path? What about that opportunity that you can't see because you're so focused on everything that you don't have? And you talked about, being in that integration and things coming to you and embodying that. Well, I
Mhm.
think there's a few good points there. One, you can't embody shit if you can't feel.
Yeah.
So if you're
Yeah.
running to the shadows and you're numbing, you're going to embody the energy of avoidance. So if
Mhm.
you're embodying the energy of avoidance, what is coming to you? You're a magnet. So everything you want is going to repel. So that's
Yeah.
the first thing. The second thing is, if you can't feel at the frequency in which you want to attract, then you're going to stay in the desert, which means if you can't find a way to feel gratitude, which is at the top of the emotional vibrational scale. So if you can't find a way to feel gratitude in what you are in, then you are going to stay in the desert. You're going to stay all the way at the beginning. Oh, opportunity. Oh, can't find it. Oh, because I'm not looking for it, because
Yeah.
I feel some type of way about where I'm at.
Yeah.
Settling in, you said, which is a fantastic point. Settling into where you are is so important, because the more you fight, the more you resist, the more you run, the more you avoid, the more you hide in the shadows, the more you push away, the very opportunity, the very solution, the very thing, the very feeling that you are searching for. Everything starts inside of you. And if you don't have this oasis plan going for you in your life,
Mhm.
if you don't have that roadmap, if you don't have that, okay, let me just sit with myself for a second and just gauge where I'm at. Am I a O? Am I an A? Am I a fucking S? Am I I? Am I like,
Yeah.
if you don't have that and you're in that victim mentality, you're in that survival mode, you can't bring yourself internally to a place of gratitude despite what is going on externally. You're going to struggle with this. You're going to struggle with this. So I think that is where a lot of people are at, like you said.
Yeah.
And like, you know what I'm saying? That is where a lot of people are at. And if you can just master that
Mhm.
one part of it, you will get the whole thing down. You will get the
Yeah.
whole thing down. Every day it won't be easy. Every
Nah,
day
for
it won't
sure.
be, for sure it will not be easy every day. But
Well,
if you can master that part, you can get through all the other ones.
yeah, and the word I would use to just is make you said it, and you even talked about the opposite of it is acceptance. All right.
Yeah.
And so once I think that's a tricky it was tricky for me because to me
Yeah.
that just it's too synonymous with almost feeling weak or like
Yeah.
letting shit happen or almost like letting people play with you or like, well, I ain't accepting shit. Like
That's
I thought I
that's
learned,
that masculine energy.
learned all this like that. Like, yeah, for real. Like straight up, like it is a very feminine approach to things, but it's a
Yes.
balance. And so
Yeah.
the acceptance with the you spoke about awareness. You can't get
Yeah.
to awareness without acceptance. It
Hell
comes
no.
first, actually, right? You have to
Yeah.
accept what it is so you can look at it clearly. So you
Yeah.
won't be biased in your approach to what it is, or you're not anything you're fighting against, you're not looking at it clearly. It
No,
does anything you're
because you're
rejecting.
still in grief. If
Yeah.
you just a real quick point.
Yeah.
The
Go
way
ahead.
that I look at Oasis, grief, you have grief, which comes in waves and comes in seasons, and you're in the flow, blah, blah, blah. The end of grief, the end of the 5 stages of grief, and from a psychological standpoint, there's more, but we don't need to get into that. The
Yeah.
end stage of grief is acceptance. And in that point of acceptance, that's when Oasis can begin.
Mm-hmm.
And in the middle, when you're in the middle of Oasis, when you're in that A and S, grief might hit you again.
Okay,
And
sure.
you might go and get high. You
Yeah.
might go and call up these hugs. You know what I'm saying? Like you might, right? But then you go back to the beginning and you figure out how to navigate that.
Yes.
But you can't do it without the acceptance, because the end of grief literally is acceptance. So if you're not accepting where you're at, you're still throwing a tantrum about what happened. Grief. You're still grieving it. And that's okay. That's okay. But
It's
what you want to do? You know what I'm saying? Like
grief is tough too, because
it is.
most
It's hard.
people most people, if it's not something catastrophic that happened in their life, they don't really, one, they don't think they're grieving, or two, you don't even understand, like you can only process so much grief. So some shit could have happened to you 20, 30 years ago and you think you passed it, but there's still a lot of grief there.
100%.
And so, grief usually shows up in ways, because you got to get through it. So you have to work with it. So grief a lot of times shows up as anger, which anger is usually just the first level of sadness, and sadness
100%.
is the second level, and then it's grief, typically.
100%.
So usually when people are extra triggered or extra just like reactive, I was like, oh, there's grief there. Now you can't just get to that. You kind of gotta work with it, And so for me, in the journey that we're speaking on, ultimately what starts to happen is I'm not ducking grief or my anger or my sadness. I'm actually starting to become more curious about it. So I'm not reacting to the people that make me feel that way. They're just showing me what's already there. Yeah. So now, like, once you get to a certain level of it, you almost thanking people when they piss you off. Because I had got to at some point, I got to the point to where I wasn't very easily rattled. So the things that could do it, I was very appreciative of. I was like, this shit hiding. I think I got it all figured out type shit. And it's like, man, in life humble you. And I'm like, thank you. I needed that, because I can feel I'm not whole. I can feel I'm still, there's avoiding my damn self. So that's where, you need people and things that are going to show you where you actually at, that can show you the truth of where you're at. So you could, you could do something about it. So the acceptance piece is, I think, difficult at times, because feels kind of weak, you know what I'm saying? But eventually, like, the strongest thing you could do is accept and be like, I'm not ducking, I ain't ducking no smoke with my emotions, with my grief, with my shame. I'm not ducking it. Come on, like, I want to see where I'm at. I want to see what I got. Like, and if I can't stand in it, then that just take me back to where what do I need to do? I need to get a little more anchored. I need to take a deeper fucking breath.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I need to spend some more time, like, building and integrating, because, okay, that's too much for me. This is where I want to hide. I want to, that's eventually you're not going to duck it. You're going to get in there with it.
No, I feel you. Like, I'm a female, but I also grew up in the hood in some pretty treacherous situations. So I'm tough, and I have a history of being real fucking hard-headed. And so when I tell you, I swear to God, bro, I'm like, no, I'm gonna fucking do this shit. It's gonna fucking happen. And if it doesn't, fuck all y'all. Like, for real. Like, I really had to work on that, because my inner masculine, and like you said, it's a balance. We all have it, feminine and masculine. They got to work together with inside of us, or we're going to be at war with ourselves. And that's just what it's going to be. And so I feel you when you say, like, I have to, even though I view acceptance as passive, I have to be in that space, because I can't. That's a gap, that's a thing that I have to feel. It's a gap that I have to bridge, or I'm not going to get to the other side. And the way that I had to frame it for myself when I was in that same situation, and sometimes I still go there with myself, I look at it like, I'm not accepting the situation because I'm fighting myself. And what do I look like fighting myself just to prove something to myself? Because at the end of the day, you look dumb as hell when it's you fighting you. It's like, who are you really fighting? If everybody is just a mirror of you, who are you really going to war with? Yourself. And who loses when you fight and resist and avoid and dip off into the sunset and run and hide and repress? And who loses? Who really loses? So I really had to look at it like, okay, I want to be tough and hard-headed and ego and masculine and blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to win and I'm going to succeed. Well, I'm not going to win and succeed if I'm continuously fighting myself and running from the shit acceptance that's really going to help me win. So that's how I had to look at it for me, because I will ride some shit till the wheels fall off and it will fuck me up.
So what happens? And so what you just described in the question I ask a lot of people is, what happens when you reach a point in your life, or you approach a moment in your life, or there's a door you're trying to enter, and the only way you can get through it is by softening? There's nothing, what happens then, right? When you reach something, and most people avoid those situations because they don't have the answers, because there's no amount of toughing your way or pushing your way through it. What happens when the only way to win is to lay the sword down?
That's the breakthrough. That's the breakthrough. I honestly, like, I'm gonna keep it so solid with you. I had got to that point in this season that I have been in, and if y'all are listening to this, y'all know it's been fucking treacherous out here. But in this season that I have been in, I got to that point where it was literally like, let go, let God, surrender, Jesus take the wheel, all that bullshit people say. It was really to that point. I was banging my fucking head spiritually against the wall, swear to God. And I was like, I'm fighting and I'm doing all this and I'm trying real hard and I'm not getting anywhere and shit's only getting worse and I'm trying and I'm trying and I'm trying and I'm trying. And I just felt in my soul, stop fucking trying. And I took a step back and just tears started falling down my face. And listen, I'm an emotional ass bitch, but I am not one to just be crying for no reason. You know what I mean? Like, I boo-hoo and shit, but I'm not like when I was like, my soul was just like, stop trying. I took a step back and tears just came down and I was at peace. And I was like, wow. And the second I got into that softness, the second I let go, the second I stopped trying, the second I stepped into that peace, the sword rose up on its own. Ideas started flowing in. I was like,
you know what to do with the sword.
I said, you pull this motherfucker out of the rock, and all I had to do was let go, and now it's just in the air, dangling, giving me all the knowledge and the wisdom and the ideas and the direction. And I was searching, chasing. Where is it at? Pushing, putting in effort. And that's a very masculine energy to do. Yeah. To do is to be in your masculine. To put in effort. To think is masculine. Yeah. To be in your thoughts, to logic some shit out, that's masculine energy. I think, I do, that's masculine. Yeah. And that is what we're taught in this society, to think some shit up, to come up with a game plan, to strategize, and to fucking go out there and make it happen. That's masculine energy. But when you are going through the desert and you ain't never been in the motherfucking desert and you've been avoiding the feeling part, and to be soft and to be in your feminine is to feel. Yeah. Is to stop, is to not feminine. You only have one choice. Get into the energy you haven't been in. If you've been banging your head against a fucking wall trying to pull a fucking sword out of a rock and it's not working, stop. Just stop, because it's counterintuitive, and especially in this society, especially in this fucking country, it's counterintuitive to stop. Like, the hell is you doing? Especially if you're like me and you got trauma where, like, if you sit, it's a problem. Like, get the fuck up type shit. Like, get your motherfucking ass up. Like, if you know what I'm saying? You don't want to do that. So it's counterintuitive to just stop. But when you're in that situation where you don't know and you don't have direction and everything that you're doing isn't working, you have to stop. You have to accept. You have to fucking soften. You have to. It's the only way to get through the breakthrough is to stop.
Yeah, yeah. No. You smoke that. That's facts. It's, it's nothing to add. That's a. I mean, obviously, I would say this because we learn. We're all born in what we're born into, and we all learn the skills we learn, and we all, you know, what I'm saying, we all have our set of things. It's just like eventually shit's so overused, you don't understand that all that resilience and all that toughness, you got to apply it in a different way.
Boy.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you got to. So it's like, it's now, if you're trying to be resilient, you know, it don't mean you got to push through something. Maybe you got to be resilient, use that resilience to accept something. Yeah. So this is going to be hard. So somebody tells you, most of us think, I grew up doing shit, like doing hard things. I grew up navigating tough waters. You said it was treacherous. Well, what is more treacherous than navigating the road back to your heart? So if you actually that skillful at it and you know what to do, then you wouldn't be ducking that or avoiding that. So many people are
ducking now, like
cracking with whoever, but you don't want to get it cracking with them emotions. You know, and when I say get it cracking, I don't mean fight them. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying you don't want to.
I get you
in the ring. You don't want to get in there and see what they have for you. You don't want to. You know, truth be told, the toughest of people. You know what I'm saying? More often than not, they're the most fragile.
100%.
So you know what I'm saying? Like it's
biggest hearts.
Yeah. You if the more rigid you are, but if you're able to be fluid and more flow. This is what we're talking about, the more feminine aspect of things. Now it's a balance. So you know what to do. You know when there's going to be moments where you absolutely need to stand your ground. There's going to be moments where you absolutely need to push through something. But 100%. You got to be pushing through shit that's worth it. Not just fighting to be fighting or doing stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be just running out here using my energy, just doing shit, trying to survive, get my needs met, wasting all this energy towards nothing that's actually gonna sustain you or do anything for the larger purpose. All your energy is being wasted going towards fear or illusion of this story that you're just playing within yourself. It's a war within self. And once
that alone is hard to accept.
Yeah, exactly.
The truth.
Yeah, you know, you'll feel like, and it'll have you feel like you're alone and you're not.
Yeah.
Most people feel misunderstood, unheard, you know, alone, undersupported. And the truth is, when we talk about shadow work, that's what your shadow's saying to you. I got all these feelings, all this shit, all these emotions, and you're not hearing them.
Amen.
You're not understanding what I'm saying. You know, you're abandoning me. Everybody, when we feel these things outside of us, there's a part of us that's saying it to us.
100%. Right? Always.
That's all it is. And once you start to pay some attention to these things and really get in there with it, that story and that narrative starts changing. You start, so that gratitude you was talking about, you start feeling more resourced and supported, even though nothing has really changed around you. You just could tap into it. You're like, oh, damn, I actually got a lot of support. Or it was always there and I couldn't tap into it because I was so busy playing the story in my head. You know, so ultimately for me, it always comes back to self.
Yes.
From within. So everything else is just a mirror to that. So how I'm feeling, and if I'm always perpetually feeling a certain thing, it's not that the world is so fucked up. It's that this is literally the energy and the frequency that I'm stuck in because the opposite does exist.
Yep.
It exists. Why can't I tap into it? Maybe I'm the common denominator. It's there. It exists. You know?
Yes. You just got to find the channel. And the only way to find the channel to tune into that is within inside of yourself because you are the channel. And everybody else outside of you is just showing you what you got on TV. Like that's just really what it is. And that alone, like I said, is hard to accept. But at the end of the day, like the faster you recognize, like, okay, I feel some type of way at these people because they weren't, you know, meeting my needs. Well, it was really just you and your inner self and your shadow and your inner child and blah, 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 blah. That's telling you what you need, that you need to give to yourself first. And you had mentioned it a little bit earlier, but like people do skip that part where it's like, I'm trying to, earlier in the conversation, we're trying to get our needs met, and we're using other things to do it. And we're not recognizing like we got to do that shit. And we can't keep doing it with shit that is like not really aligned to what it is we really want long term. That's not sustainable. So it's just hard to accept when you realize like, damn dog, like it's really just been me. Like it's like that Spider-Man meme when it's like they're standing, the Spider-Man, and the Spider-Man is like, something like that. Like, damn, bro. Like,
I saw that earlier. It's funny you said that. That's why I saw the Spider-Man meme.
Yeah. Like, hold on, wait. Like, okay. It's just me, right? The other half of yourself. Like, it's crazy. But so the S in Oasis, you said is self, right?
The shift. No? It's a shift.
Shift. Oh, yeah. Shift. Okay, shift. So break it down. So break it down from beginning to end. I'm not gonna cut you off. I'm just let you write it out. So all the way from O to S.
Okay, so you got the opportunity. The O is the opportunity. This is your North Star. This is why am I even doing this? Like why? It could be something I want that's either in my heart or a goal or something, or it could be I know what I don't want. You know what? I don't want that. We're gonna just go on this. So the journey is that. Why am I doing this? Because I was tired of that shit happening. I was tired of this or whatever the case may be. The A is your anchors. These is pillars of support. Any person, place, or thing that's really going to support. And when in the way you can identify is that if I pour energy into this, the returns are going to be something I want. It's going to feed who I'm becoming in the long run. The S is going to be the shadows. And the shadows, I say this, when you go on the journey, you must face the shadows. Like you must face them. Ultimately, it's integration, which is the next one. But ultimately, it's like we're taking all that shadow stuff and what are the needs that are there. And it's like we bringing it on the journey with us. We like, all right, like you've been going rogue, compulsive habits, and I've been, just very unconsciously behaving. Now we're gonna bring it all back, and you gotta go through it. So whatever you don't want to feel, face, see, all that, we're going straight through it. And we're going to keep going through it until we get the lessons, until we retrieve the wisdom, until we understand not why something happened to us in the past, but what was I supposed to take from it that's going to help me build a better future, right?
Amen.
That's ultimately it. The why is low-key irrelevant. People get stuck on the why.
That was a hard lesson for me. I'm not going to lie. A couple years ago, I really had to we always want to know why. Why did they do that? Why did this happen? If this was meant to be, then why is it not? Why? I'm telling y'all right now, do not get caught up on the why.
Well, and the why always reveals itself later. You don't even have if you get stuck trying to figure out the why, you're not going to keep taking the steps to actually let it reveal itself where you can, that was part of my becoming. Mm-hmm. Oh, actually, I always say this, your wounds, your chorus wounds are literal indicators of your destiny.
Yes, 100%.
They're your purpose. This is about finding purpose. Mm-hmm. You cannot find one without the other.
No.
They are completely linked. So whatever you're avoiding, if you're avoiding the things that have hurt you the most, you're avoiding yourself. You're avoiding your own becoming. You're avoiding the purpose, path, destiny, the gifts that were put here for you to become who you were here to become. They're laying in that shit you don't want to go into. You got to have some courage to go in there and get that shit. You know what? Nah, that's mine. I need that. Whatever happened to me, like I'll walk straight up in there. I'm going to use all that resilience you built up over the time and take it right back in there and say, I need that though.
Yeah.
That's mine. So those are the shadows. I is integration. And that's every moment in your life, your everyday life, where you have an opportunity to make a choice, which is I'm going to either be in them anchors or I'm going to be in the shadows, right? Mm-hmm. It's one of the, it's a choice point. And integration is just repetition. It's practice. Mm-hmm. It's practicing it so much and repeating it so much and going back and paying attention to what choices I made until I become someone different. Yeah. I'm becoming, you can try something. We all got good at something by repeating it, soulful
Right.
repetitions, where it's so innate to you now. To not do it would feel strange. You know,
Yeah.
for me, the first time I shot a basketball, I was not a great shooter. I'm
Yes.
missing everything. But the soulful repetition, I lock it down, and now my body doesn't know how to not shoot that thing like this. If I'm
Yes.
not shooting like this, I'm gonna feel weird in my body. And so we want
Right.
to
Right.
invest in things that sustain us to where if we're not doing them, like if I don't meditate for like 2 or 3 days, or I don't, like, and when I say meditate, what I mean is if I don't get still and just be with myself,
Period.
I feel off. I'm like,
Yep.
wait, because my natural state is, this equilibrium, this balance. So that's what we're trying to do.
Yep.
That's integration, and then that's going to lead to shift after shift after shift, which is the
Yes.
breakthroughs, the aha moments, the larger becoming. You feel yourself growing, you feel yourself getting it, even if things around you haven't even shown it yet. You're like,
Yeah.
ooh, okay. And that's where you get ahead of the energy. Instead of feeling like life is pulling you around and yanking you around, you start feeling like, I know what's coming. I know
Yep.
exactly what's about to happen. I felt the
Yep.
energy shift because everything I've done. And so then when it shows up, you already knew it was coming. You're like, bro, I knew this was happening. I felt the shift weeks, months before. And that's where we start getting into the intuition and your gifts and like being very spiritually attuned and psychic
And
abilities.
trust too.
Yeah.
Like going
Yeah.
through that oasis process really, I mean, of course it connects you with yourself. It's a shadow work. It's so many things all in one. But towards the end of it, and once you get into that shift energy, a lot happens. The breakthrough, the whys now become the wisdom, and because you've integrated like all of the things. But I think I will say one of the more special things about this oasis concept that you've created is self-trust. Because earlier in the beginning of this conversation, we talked about disappointments, right? Which is where a lot of us go. I don't want to say wrong, but it's where a lot of us go left. It's where a lot of us get lost in the disappointments, right? Or because of them. And so when we do things in life and they disappoint us, we lose trust in ourselves. And when we don't trust ourselves to make choices and navigate and move and groove, we get lost. And one of the most beautiful things that I take away from this oasis concept is the self-trust that you build by the end of it, because you have recognized opportunities. You have found anchors that work for you now in your becoming. You have learned how to make new choices for yourself, make better choices for yourself. In this process, by the way, you are learning who you are. You are learning who you're becoming. You have found discipline and structure and grace and love for yourself in the integration. And by the end of it all, you have this newfound, not only sense of self, but you now have this newfound trust in yourself. And that trust is the portal to everything that you just said, the intuition, the gifts, the this, the that. Because if you don't trust yourself and you try to listen to your intuition, you're gonna be like, oh hell, I'm crazy as hell. Like, what the hell? Lock me up. Like, because you're not gonna know what to do with this information. Like, you're like, what the fuck? I'm crazy as hell, dog. You're gonna think you weird and shit. Like, you really, because you don't have that trust. But that's what's so beautiful, because the second you get into that shift energy and you start to trust yourself and you start to trust your choices and you start to really love who you are despite all the disappointments and the shit that you've been through, oh my God, so many fucking doors open up, bro. Like, you're like, oh my God, I'm such a fucking spiritual being. I have all these gifts and talents that came online. Oh my God. Like, it's crazy. You walk different.
Absolutely.
You fucking walk different.
And ultimately what you just kind of, to encompass it, what you brought together is, you said it's I said this is the journey of self, which we're all on it, but we always kind of like put too much emphasis on things outside of us. It's the journey of self, but the journey of self is the journey to God. The journey to God is the journey of self. Seek God, find self. Seek self, find God. So what you just described, what the desert is actually gonna lead to is deeper faith.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. You can't have faith without trust.
Yeah, exactly. So when you say you walk different, it's because you saying I'm in the trust. I walk with God. Like it's
I'm
me.
protected.
You know,
I'm
I'm
in here. It's
exactly,
gonna
and
work
it's me.
out.
Like I'm the embodiment. I'm the embodiment of such. I am the not like I'm perfect. I got it all figured out. I trust. I trust even in the when it's not going right or how it looks or whatever my judgment, even my own fearful thinking at times. Ultimately, where I land is my trust that the fearful thoughts don't dictate what's about to happen.
Period.
You feel me? So natural is when you even just brought it all together. I'm like, I don't. The way I position the Oasis is for people, no matter where they're at in their walk with faith, is that see, you don't deepen your faith by everything going right. You meet faith when you don't got no choice. When you are in there's nothing saving you. And you have to believe, you have to not only believe, you have to know. It's not, I don't want to say believe. I'm sorry, I don't want to misspeak. It's not belief. It's not I think, it's a gnosis. I know that this actually has a meaning that is larger, bigger, grander than my limited capacity can fathom. Therefore, I can need to tap into that. And when I say the journey to the heart, this is where you meet God. Not outside of you, not somewhere
And
else.
you know what that energy is? You know what faith? You know what the energy of faith is? You know what the energy of trust is? Feminine.
Facts. Oh,
And
for
God,
sure.
you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, for
God,
sure.
it's
For
the
sure.
feminine meeting the masculine God. This
Yeah.
is why they say God, he, him, that God is
Yeah.
because it's the feminine aspect of you, the trust, the faith in what you cannot see, right? That's why when you corrected yourself and said belief, that in itself is fucking interesting as hell, because there's this whole concept that we've heard, like you gotta believe that, you gotta see it to believe it, and blah 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 blah. But the reality is you gotta feel it to have that belief, and you feel it through trust and faith, and that leads you to God, who, by the way, in his masculine form, provides, protects, and it's a team effort, you know.
Like we're sourced. All we got to do is tap in. You know what I'm saying? Like this is ultimately what we're looking for in everything else that we chase. We looking for the source, but we run into the catalyst. You know, we missing it. It's not the source. So that is. I mean, I know these are in the understanding of what's being said will deepen through time, because a lot of it has been said before. But when you start to understand what's being said, or how you get a deeper level of awareness of what's actually being said and what's being asked of you,
a deeper knowing.
It's a totally different ball game when you are connected. And so you can use whatever terminology you're comfortable with. Everybody, I think religion has taken a monopoly on.
Oh yeah, you know me and my stance on it. I do.
So whatever it's all whatever
you feel comfortable with.
Whatever you feel comfortable with, but the knowing that actually I'm not in control of all of this, but I am an expression that has power with how I experience things. So how can I tap in to the frequency that gives all this so much order? That's actually, so you know, how can I tap into that? And when you tap into that, it's a totally different thing. You don't be tripping off so much. You be like,
Peace.
The answers be so clear too. They get really clear. Be a lot of clarity in there. You be like, you know, I'm not talking blind faith and I believed it. I'm not talking that.
No, that's religion. Blind faith, that's religion. It's not.
You know, and when I don't know, I'm cool with that. Like I'm like, all right, I'm here. Like, show me. I ask for the signs. I say, show me. Am I supposed to do this? Right. This is an idea I have. You only sometimes I have an idea. You said all these ideas floating. They don't be mine. And I'd be like, is this? Am I supposed to do this? Give me green lights. Give me red lights. Show me what it is. I can't decipher that. I'm not sure. You know. And 100%. This is the connection where we come back home. This is what we all are. This is the
welcome home.
You know? Right.
Welcome home. This was great. I really don't want to end here because I feel like we could sit here for 6 hours and just dig up all of these gems, but for time's sake anyways, I think that this was a great conversation. And if you would just hit the people, no explanation, just OASIS, hit them with it. What is it? O is
O is the opportunity. A is the anchor. S is the shadows. I is integration. S is the shift. There we go.
This is the sauce.
Yeah.
This is the sauce to your purpose. This is the key. Really. I mean, the first time that I heard this concept, and by the way, like this is his like he's the man. He did this. This is his creation, right? Like this is his thing. And the first time I heard it, I was like, well, goddamn, there it is. That's
Right.
it. That's it. So, I mean, there are so many different ways, avenues, resources, and tools, to get us out of whatever we're in. But this to me makes the most sense. And I feel like, like I said, to y'all, we could sit here all day and do this all day. Like there's so much more to talk about. We might have to come back and do a part 2. I don't know. But
I try to condense that piece so much. That's why I was speeding through it. I was trying to condense it because what we just talked about. That was for me. That started in without me knowing it in 2020 for real.
Yeah.
So I can speak about each part for hours when I teach it to people and work with people. Yeah. It's usually like it's an 8-week journey minimum. Is when I take people through it. Like and when I say minimum, what I mean is working with me on it. That's just me helping you for what you about to go do.
Right.
Way outside of me. You know what I'm saying? That's not even so. That's why it's like I could go in crazy detail about that. I just try to condense it so people get a gist of what the fuck going on because it's a very large thing.
It is. I mean, the self is large. I mean, if we are, one with the universe, that's a big topic. You know what I mean? Like this is not just like an hour episode situation. Like there is a lot to it. But for people, I feel like for people who are just in that space of I'm in the desert and I don't know what to do, I feel like you guys will get a lot out of this because I mean, it's the starting point. We all got to start somewhere. You know what I'm saying? You might find that you're at O. You might find that you are stuck between the A and the S because let me tell you something. I can confirm that a lot of you motherfuckers are, and that is okay because I am a motherfucker too. And I've been stuck between that A and that S more times than I can even count. So, maybe you'll find yourself there or maybe you'll find yourself, in the integration. You're already aware. You're, struggling a little bit still. You're trying to filter between the wise and the wisdom, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe when you listen to this 3 days later, you'll have your first breakthrough. You will feel that first shift. Maybe you already have, but you weren't aware of it until you heard it in this way, right? Like it's just one of those things. And if you guys are, interested in, talking to him more about it, I will link all of his information below. If you want to see him on another podcast episode, let us know. We'll come back. We'll do it again.
So yeah, for sure.
We will for sure do it again. But, hopefully you guys will get something out of this. And wherever you're at on your journey, you will be able to kind of push forward and move forward in a way that is right for you. And so I just thank you so much, old friend. I feel like this was long overdue.
That's facts. Yeah, it's been, definitely.
Long overdue. Anything you want to say to the people before we close this out? Any plugs you want to drop? Any content you got coming?
Well, I'll say this. I mean, I've been so quiet. I disappeared. I deleted all my socials. I just downloaded Instagram again 3 days ago. So there's literally nothing on it, but there's stuff coming. Okay. So my Instagram is Quez.Haynes, Quez.Haynes, Haynes. That's my Instagram. Ain't nothing on it right now, but there will be soon. My YouTube is Marquez Haynes. The TikTok Marquez Haynes 0, I believe. I can't remember half of these because I don't be on social media that much.
I'll have them send them to me. I'll link
it. I know people need this stuff, and I just been so deep in my own desert, in my own cave, learning it so I could give it that now I'm ready to share it. And so, of course, when Ash asked me to come in and share, because behind the scenes, I'm like, you know what? Like, it's time to pop out. So yeah, man, go run it up. Like holler at me, tap in with me. I got resources. I got shit to share in a very grounded, authentic way. You know, where we could connect the dots and make some of this stuff more accessible. And you know, tap in with me. So
And for those of you guys who are wondering, because I know it's gonna be some girls on here, they're like, "Oh my God, he's so cute. What's his sign? He's a Sag." So you know, if you
quadruple Sag, big Sag.
Go tell it. Drop your placements. What are they? Go ahead, tell them.
I feel
Sun,
like
Moon, Rising. Do it.
I'm like, I want to give them that. They're gonna try to box me in, but anyway, I give it to them. Sag, Sun, Aqua Rising, Leo Moon.
Aqua Rising team. If y'all fuck with me, you'll fuck with him because it's like same type of placements. You know what I mean? Like all that fire, all that air, all that wisdom really is what it is. So they can't they try to box the Sag in, but you cannot box the Sag in. There's too much diversity going on anyways. So it's like do what you want, but that's what it is. This was fun. This was fun.
It's fine.
Yeah, this was fun. I'll get all his information, socials, all of that. I'll link everything below if y'all want to tap in with him. Like I said, if you got some out of this, let us know. If you want to see him again, we'll do it again. But other than that, guys, that's a wrap. That's it. I think, you know, I thank you and I appreciate you being here. And yeah, we'll do this again. Oasis, Team Oasis.
Yeah, no, thank you. Appreciate you. This is dope what you're doing. I know the concept. I understand what you're about to do with this. And I got some stuff coming too that I want you to be a part of. So it'll be dope. I'm gonna tell you about it in a second, and you're gonna be like, oh yeah, I fuck with that. So yeah.
It'll be cool.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to pop back out. Like to in a space that I feel comfortable. I'm like, you know, I'm ready. I got some shit to say. Like, let's do it. So thank you. This is my first platform that I've been on in 3 or 4 years. I'll just put that out there. This is the first time I've done a conversation and shared what's inside of me in 3 or 4 years. So that's a testament to you because I've turned down a lot of shit. I want to be here with you. That's fact.
I just said I was not an emotional ass bitch. Now I'm about to get emotional. No,
it's real. It's real.
That's real shit. Though.
Hold up. Also, I just gotta add this. And some of the history we didn't get into, but the reason being is because of how much you helped me in some of the darkest times, even before I knew you, when I was tapping into your stuff. And then I reached out and said, yo, you don't even know how much you helped me in some of these moments where I just really couldn't, or I'm finding my way years back. So to now be on the other side of so much change and transition, I'm always going to show up, support, and sing your praises and shout your message to the world because it was really crucial for me. It was a pillar for me in that time. So I need to put that out there so people know.
Oh, well, I'm glad, you know, and y'all know me, you know me, y'all know me, right? That's kind of who I am, right? Like, yeah, I'm here to like help and be of service, just like you and in what you're doing, and just like, you know, people who are watching and stuff like that. But I'm also like, I just have this way about me where I'm always looking to get people on equal playing fields. I see the potential, and if I know you see your potential, that's an investment for me. We're teammates now. You know what I mean? So like we're gonna grow together. And even when you had come to me like on some like client shit, like right in the beginning, like the potential that you had, the direction that I don't even think you knew that was over your life at that time. Like I just knew like, yeah, he's in the circle for sure. Like it's not, you know, so I'm glad I was able to be that person for you when you needed it. Cause that's what the WayUp Network is. Right. But also I'm glad that, you know, we have come so far in our own journeys that now we're kind of in a space where our paths are aligned in a business way, right? So
more collaborative, yeah, for sure.
More collaborative, for sure. You know what I mean? And I say business in terms of like, you know, I know my audience will get a lot from you and what you're trying to do, and if I can, you know, have you here on, you know, in this capacity so that people can hear more of what you got, because it's good, y'all. Like he has a lot. He's so smart. Like sometimes like I'm a smart ass bitch, but when I talk to him on the phone, I'm like, if this motherfucker don't stop business talking me with his fancy words and shit, like he's smart and he got it. He's so smart. He's so intelligent. He's so wise beyond his time, before his time, beyond his years. So wise, has so much information to share. And, regardless of the journey and the personal hurdles and things like that, you're going to be great. I mean, you're meant for, whatever type of success. You got a service heart. You want to help. You want to be out there. I see it. They're going to see it. We all see it. And, I'm happy that, you're popping back out, and I hope it feels right for you. And I just wish you hella love and success in whatever it is that you're doing. So hopefully we'll see you again.
I'm friend of the show, man. I'm back whenever you want.
Turn up. All right. All right. Well, that's it for this week. Anyways, I will be back next week with somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Talking about some other shit. We're keeping it real lit over here. That's all I gotta say. When I tell y'all I gotta line up, I gotta line up. You're gonna be like, what the hell is going on? I don't know, but that's what it is. So I'm gonna see y'all next week. Thank you so much for being here with us, everybody. You know what I'm saying? And I'll talk to y'all soon. Take care.